About a year ago, I made a video testing this light. So here are the CoLight D09 lights. This is from a company called CoLight. It's clearly a Chinese company from my interaction with them. They sent me this light to test, and I called them out in the video for having light that was very clearly a copy of the Lone Rider MotoLight. Now, if you guys look closely at these lights, you'll see they're very close to the Lone Rider lights. The Lone Rider ones have a little bit better optics. They have some fog lenses on the bottom ones. And of course, they have a little bit smarter control module that goes with them, but they are obviously at a much higher price. Now, fast forward a little over a year, and I got an email from Lone Rider MotoLights from their legal department saying that they have seen my video and they are currently filing a lawsuit with CoLight for copyright infringement. Luckily, they're not mad at me for it. They did not blame me for it, but they did agree to send me a set of their actual MotoLights so we can go ahead and test out the real product compared to these Chinese knockoffs to see what the difference really is. Now, unfortunately, I did test the first set on my Ducati Multistrada V4S here, and they said they do not make a controller for that bike for these Lone Rider MotoLights. They do have a BMW one, however, and we do have a BMW in the garage. So they went ahead and sent us that controller. We're going to plug that up, and we're going to be able to test side by side how these lights compare to the Chinese knockoffs that are clearly copyright infringing. And also, if you guys are interested, I might make a video comparing them to the Denali D7 Pros that have been running for a while, just to see where you should spend your money. So during that last video, when I tested this light, I made some claims that I was not overly impressed by it. And after I made these claims, they made some updates to this to make it even more like the Lone Rider MotoLights. So let me tell you about the CoLight, the product that I got. So that video is going to be linked above. You can see all that and see the beam pattern. This is basically an all or nothing light. It's got an LED ring around the outside. It's got all these lights, should be 9 lights with a center spotlight. They all came on together, and it came with a controller that allowed it to flash, allowed it to change modes. The ring around the outside could change colors from amber to white, but the beam was all or nothing. So it was either not visible during the day or blinding people at night. There was no in between, and I really didn't like it for that. That's pretty much the direct reason why I ordered the Denali D7 Pros, because I really like the ability for those lights to communicate with my motorcycle, with the hand controls on the motorcycle, to engage with the turn signals, the high beams, the low beams, do all that stuff automatically, and they have been stellar since I've put them on the bike. Now, Lone Rider sent us these lights, and from what I hear, the communication protocols, this is a next generation kind of light. The way it communicates with the bike and with the lights require only one set of wiring, I believe. So it'll be pretty interesting to put this together. I think the installation is going to be pretty easy, and I think we're going to be able to do an awful lot with them. So this is my wife's BMW F800 GS. I believe it's a 2024 model. And currently we have these old lights. These are the first lights I put on my Multistrada, and honestly I've had these for several years now, probably about 5-6 years. They're Amazon lights. I can't even find them on the store anymore. They're only about $20, and honestly they're my favorite lights. They have a really nice beam pattern. They are super visible during the day, and they are actually really helpful at night. Again, the beam pattern is pretty great. So we're going to be replacing those with the Lone Rider lights to see how they compare. By the way, worth noting now, if you want to buy these things in this configuration with this controller and these lights, it's going to be about $1,000, which is pretty comparable to the Denali lights, but obviously way more than these cheap Amazon lights. All right, I'm pretty excited to get into this box. It is pretty heavy, and I think that's a good sign. They're pretty solid. Let's go ahead and open up the package. Here are the lights. You can see all the information about them there. These were shipped directly from Lone Rider, not from another retailer. They have stickers, which means they're a good product. Set those aside. This is basically how they're going to be wired up. Now, this came with that CAN bus controller, and basically we're just going to be using one line from that CAN bus controller to these lights, which is pretty interesting. The Denali D7 Pro I have The CAN bus adapter it has 4 outputs, and I use every single one of them to operate those lights because they have so many functions. This operates on a single channel here, which is pretty cool, and I'm interested to see how different that really is. Gonna open this up, and here are the lights. They come with covers, obviously, which is nice for shipping. Here they are, and man, if this casting isn't directly like that CoLight one, or CoLight's directly like Lone Rider's, I guess is a better statement. Exact same brackets, same cover snap-on. Man, these things are solid. Here they are with the cover off, and the texture is so much better than CoLight. It's not that smooth, just cheap finish. This is pretty robust feeling. It's got some texture to it. Obviously, it's got their logo. The light itself, they do have an LED ring around the outside. It is a very different LED ring than what CoLight has. This one looks a lot higher quality, looks a lot smoother, more uniform, which is nice. It does have a peel over it. We'll take off later after we install it. It's got the fog lamps on the bottom, so the bottom ones have a diffuser built into it, which is one of my complaints on the CoLight set I got, and one of the changes they made to it to copy this exact light set. So they look like that now. You can see the LED chips inside. This is no doubt going to be much higher quality LEDs, and the center spot's going to be separate. That's able to come on with speed sensitivity settings, which is going to be pretty cool to set up, and I'm pretty excited for these. They definitely feel solid, and we're going to figure out where we want to mount them. So here are our lights, and I think we're going to end up mounting these in roughly the same place. They do have a couple options. We can mount them upside down to keep them lower, or right side up. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to choose yet, but we can use these same brackets. So there's a couple options when you mount lights like this. Pretty commonly, I see lights like this mounted inboard of these crash bars, so they're kind of in this area. You get a little bit of shadow sometimes from the actual fork tubes here, but it keeps them protected from things like falls and crashes, stuff like that. Well, if you're doing a lot of off-roading and putting your bike in some pretty risky situations, that makes a lot of sense. While it's not unheard of for us to take our bikes off-road, at least a little bit, nothing too terribly aggressive, most of the time our bikes stay on the highway. These are mostly used as touring bikes that can do dirt paths, gravel paths, and occasionally go off-road. So because of that, I favor traffic safety just a little bit more. Now, when it comes to traffic safety, I've got a couple of ideas, and one of the things I read about, one of the things I teach about in my bike safety classes is having multiple light sources. So in addition to just the factory lights here that kind of sometimes blend in with SUVs or cars around you, luckily adventure bikes are a little bit taller, they kind of stand out, but maybe pickup trucks or so are about the same height lights, so these kind of blend in. Having additional lights that are both wider and lower make the bike stand out a little bit more and make you less likely to be ignored. Also, having lights that are as wide as possible really help with depth perception and figuring out your position and speed for oncoming drivers. Because of that, I think we're going to adopt the same strategy here, because this bike again stays mostly on road. So we're going to go ahead and put these Lone Rider lights out as far as we can on the bike and make them nice and wide, basically replacing these spotlights that are there now, and I think it's going to look great.
A few minutes later.
Well, we are just about done. I know I skipped some stuff, but really it's very bike dependent on how we run some wires here. So let me show you exactly what I did. I have both of our lights here mounted right up front. Take a look at those things. They look better than those $20 Amazon lights I had, for sure, as long as they work. I did change their placement a little bit, so they're a little bit inboard. So they're still the farthest thing out on the bike. I mean, not the farthest things, I guess not as wide as the handlebars or the bags, but they are sticking out quite a bit, so they still get some wide profile. So for depth perception, for drivers gauging how far away this bike is, it's a little bit easier, but also if it happens to go down, they're in a place where they're able to swing in without hurting anything, and they've got some protection. They're not gonna move a whole lot, so I think that's a good happy medium. So on this particular BMW, we have just the center tank pad is really all we had to take apart. I went ahead and took out screws basically holding the entire body on, and that was a complete waste of time, because really with this top on, I can do everything I need to. There is a Y connector. I'll show you all the wiring for the EasyCan here that I have hooked up. It basically goes straight into power here, right back to the EasyCan. The white connector is, of all the colored ones, the one that goes to these lights. And there's an included Y connector. basically a single in from the white connector from the easy can all the way up and then splits into a Y. On the F800, that cable is long enough that you can run everything from that. You don't need to use any other extensions, which is kind of nice. And just a single cable really simplifies installation. The issue I have on my Ducati with all those cables, because we're running 4 different circuits and 2 of them are Y cables, man, the amount of hiding and shoving and fitting I had to do to get those cables to fit, running a single lineup like these Lone Riders would make the installation exponentially easier every time I had to work on that bike. So we have our computer plugged up here. We're gonna go to this website right here, lonerider-motorcycle.com/motocan, and download the software. I think it's gonna be different than the Hex EasyCan software I have for the Denali lights, but let's go ahead and log on and find out. So once you're in the software, it basically does everything by itself. It automatically finds the lights that you have connected, and it starts assigning things to them. So scanning complete, it found them. So it basically tells us what's going on here with our lights. So let's go ahead and look at the settings. We are DRL during the day is set to amber, not white. We can change that. They are set to flash amber with turn signals, inverse flash when hazards are active, wide, narrow, off with turn signals. What is wide, narrow? Wide, narrow beams on the side of the flashing turn signal lamp will turn off in order for the visibility of the turn signal to be maintained. So I guess that's those little ones. So let's turn those off. Daytime with DRL. Okay, here's the wide. Wide is just the bottom, full is everything. Spot with speed blending, there we go. Interesting stuff. So let's go ahead and configure this a little bit and I'll show you what I got. So I did the first fire up and I'll share with you guys what I saw. Ultimately, I like these lights. They are very bright, and some of the issues I had with the CoLights about them being just too bright to look at, I'm gonna take a little while probably to fine tune the brightness on these things, because even at 50% aimed kind of downward, these things are stupid bright oncoming, and I think they're gonna bother a lot of people. The light is where it doesn't need to be. But I did put them in backwards.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Well guys, a couple days has passed, as you can tell by different hairstyle and different shirt. Now, something that was a little bit confusing to me, or something that caught me off guard, was that these lights have specific CAN addresses. So the bike, when it plugs them in, knows exactly what they are, and it knows which one is left and right, even if you put them on right and left. So when I first put them on, they were backwards. I did have to take them off of this bike and swap them so it would read correctly, which was kind of a frustrating thing. It's something you don't have to do on the more analog style things like the Denali lights. But nevertheless, if you test them out before you get them on, it should work. I don't see any labels on them that indicate right or left, so it's a little bit confusing. So just keep that in mind. Test them before you mount them. That's going to save you a big headache. Now, with them mounted, I did test them just here in the garage with a couple settings for the low beam, the high beam, the turn signals, the hazard lights, the strobe to pass, the strobe with horn, and very much they're very similar to these Denali lights in that respect and what they're capable of. But the fact that they only need this one thin little wire running to each instead of multiple big connectors really makes this a whole lot easier to mount on the bike than the Denalis. So that is one plus for them for sure. When we compare them to these copyright infringing CoLights, they are incredibly similar. Obviously, the Lone Riders are far better quality. Everything about these Lone Riders just seems better quality, so no doubt about them. I can see why they are as expensive as they are. But in comparison, you can see how they look and why this copyright suit might be going on. So over the next day or so, we'll be getting this out and trying to do some low light stuff with it, seeing how it looks during the daytime, seeing how it looks during the nighttime, making sure we have the aim of these things done correctly, and then I'll get some footage from the bike to show you exactly how the light pattern is, how it looks while riding. And if you click that link at the beginning of the video that shows the old CoLight ones, you'll be able to see how they compare, and if these $1,000 lights are that much better than the $100 lights. So right away, I noticed the low beams fill the road pretty well right around you, but man, these high beams throw some light. I am still a little undecided on the spotlight functionality, that center circle that they have, kind of oval circle sort of thing. I don't exactly know how to feel about that yet, but it's hard to argue that it throws light down that road immensely. I mean, these things are bright. Helpful as a rider for sure, but also helpful for oncoming traffic. Obviously this is nighttime, there is no oncoming traffic, so this is going to be the high beams. But as we cross this hill, just look how far that light is thrown. And it's going to make it very hard to outride your headlights when you're running a set of these things. Even wildlife, like the deer right there, are easier to see. You're a little bit safer being able to see farther out in front of you. So if you want the ability to turn nighttime into daytime and truly have command of the road in front of you, have awareness of what's coming in front of you, and just being able to light up the night, I am having a really hard time not wanting to recommend these lights. Overall, now I definitely love my Denali lights, but these are kind of a next generation sort of light with the controls, and I really like them. The fact that they're blended in with your handlebar controls, you don't have to think about flipping extra switches, they just work with your bike. And that's what I love about the CAN bus system I have on the Denali lights. That is definitely true here. And these are the type of lights that I know they're expensive, but they are absolutely worth it. So again, if you guys want to see a comparison between this and the Denali D7 Pros that I have, I'd be happy to make that video. Just let me know in the comments below. If you guys have run these lights and had either good or bad experiences with them, let me know. So far, I find them really impressive. I've still got some fine tuning of the brightness settings to do, but I really like them. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And thanks for watching 4K Motoring. We'll see you soon.